Hey everybody. So I had kind of a different video for y'all today, or tonight, whatever time it is. I had a couple of requests to do a modding update guide for Wayward. So this will kind of just walk you through the steps that you'll need. So if you had like an older mod at some point and you've gotten some requests on the workshop to update it, this will hopefully help with that process. So over here on the right is the Wayward modding guide. It's still a work in progress. There's a couple sections that need to be done still, but for the sake of updating your mod, you shouldn't really have any issues with that, especially with this video, obviously. So the place we want to start is probably the prerequisites. If you go here, it's going to tell you that you need Node, and you can do either install. I mean, depending on when you watch this, pretty sure both of them work at this point, but your mileage may vary down the road, I guess. And also make sure that npm is installed when you do go to install this. I think it asks you if you want to install it, so make sure that is. VS Code, that's what I'm going to be using in this guide. TypeScript, make sure TypeScript is installed and updated. Actually, I can do that right now. If you're not sure if it's updated, you can just go ahead and copy that into your command prompt, and we'll update it for you. Wayward schemas, I'm going to be using this, and for the sake of updating your mod, I would probably recommend it. I would actually for sure recommend it, just because it's going to tell you if there's older properties that need to be updated. And so here over on the left-hand side, I have my Wayward folder opened. If you don't know how to get to it or don't know where it is, you can open Steam and open it from there. If you go into the properties, local files, browse local files, it'll open it up for you. Close out of that. And so I'm going to be opening the mods folder. In this case, there's nothing in there. If you if you haven't updated or deleted all your Wayward folders, I guess your mod might still be in here if you had an old mod in the past. In this case, I'm just going to use somebody else's mod to update, just as an example. I'm going to be using Cooking Galore by Monkeys. I'm just copying it over into this folder. If you don't have access to your mod anymore, it's not like on GitHub, you didn't save it anywhere. You can use something like Steam Workshop Downloader and just download it from the workshop itself. So I'm actually going to go on to the mod update section here. Just scroll down a little bit. So we're going to want to open that command prompt again. We're going to want to change directories to the Wayward directory. So I'm just using a CD for that. And then here's where we're gonna run this here. This command right here. I guess I could just copy it, but I'm gonna type it out. And then we're gonna want our mod folder. So it's gonna try to update as much as it can. You can see here, we can just close out of this now, it's been updated. You can see that it left some of the older stuff. If you have a mod reference folder, you're not going to need that anymore. We moved on to the new type system. So you can get rid of those. And you can see there's some older output files here. We can probably just remove those as well. The rest should be okay for now, I think. So the first thing we're going to get started on is just opening this up in code. And we're going to take a look at this mod.json file. So you can see that because I have the Wayward schemas extension installed, it's going to say that these properties are not allowed. That just means they're either updated or were removed. We'll kind of take a look at that. You can see that it added this in for me here. The compatible minor versions, this actually got changed to the Wayward version, so that's kind of what that got changed to, so I'll update that. And then it's gonna complain about that. I'll remove that. And so this multiplayer compatible got switched over, and if we look over on this guide, we'll get a breakdown of all the different properties in the mod.json, what they should be. So we can see that the multiplayer property got changed a little bit, so this is now just multiplayer, and then we're going to want compatible in this case. So there's a couple different options here, but for this mod we're going to use compatible. So that should be it. I mean, if you want to update the version, you can do that. Update anything else in here, you could do that as well. Just gonna hit save on that. For the tsconfig, it does do some updates to this when you run that update command, but I know that some of these may need to be updated as well. In this case, I'm gonna just take a look at one of our example mods that we have here. At any point, you can kind of just check out on our GitHub page here. All of our mods that we do officially are all here for you to check out. I'll just take a look at troposphere to see what the tsconfig looks there, and just pretty much copy and paste it. I don't see anything wrong here, so I'll just go ahead and save that. And the tsconfig is just how the project gets built out, or compiled, I guess. So the next thing I'm going to take a look at is the main script file over here. And as you can see, there is a bunch of errors that we need to fix. So the first thing you want to probably start with is these imports. Looks like they are no longer pointing where they should be. And probably the easiest way to do this is to just remove them, and then we can auto import them. So as you can see there, you can see that just like added like a ton more errors to the project, but we can kind of fix those as we go. So we can use this auto import feature for a lot of these. I'm just using a bind that I have set. So some of these are import issues, some of them are the errors that we kind of started with. First thing I'll probably try to fix is this registry. So here it's basically just telling us that we only need one argument now. So at some point we updated this so we don't need that secondary argument. So I'm just going to find and replace this. And for the group, it's kind of the same situation. We only need the one parameter. So next thing to look at here is the groups. Here it's saying that there's no longer a food property, or no longer a food enum. So in this case, because we removed the food, we probably don't need that set. So in the case of all these foods, we can probably go ahead and remove these. So I think we do a search and replace. See that there's 31 references, so we can go ahead and just remove those. Just kind of scrolling through here to see if I can see anything else. So I think these, yeah, these are auto import. So I'm seeing a lot of issues with decays into. So let's take a look at decays into. So basically what this is telling me is these decays into turned into an array. So we can use regex to kind of do a replace on these, it looks like. Because I think there's quite a bit of the, yeah, and they're all kind of different. So we're going to do very rudimentary regex on this. So I believe that should work. Okay, I was scared that that wasn't updating. So it takes a bit of time sometimes to update the TS lint. So the next thing we can look at is this return on use. So it's saying that it's no longer a property. So we can kind of go into the properties of the item and see if we can find a replacement. Return. Okay, so it looks like this changed into return on use and decay, and it seems like it's a little bit different now as well. So this is now an object, and there's comments on each of the different properties in the object. So we'll need to do some conversions here. How many of these are there? 26 of them. Just taking a look if these are all the same. 26 there if we find that. So they're not all the same. So we can probably do a find and replace on those though. So this is now an object. So we have a type. So we'd replace that with our type. Damaged. So it looks like here this probably was didn't have a damage before, so we'll leave that unset. And so we probably want to use this new property. In this case, for example, so this is sugar, and before it was returning the bowl that the sugar is put in. So we want to return that same bowl is basically what we're saying with this return from disassembly. And we also want to use this when crafted true, so that we return the bowl if we ever use the sugar in a craft. So that looks like that works. So we're just going to do a find and replace on that. So that looks like that worked there. Don't need that though. So yeah, that seemed to work. But I know there's a couple, yeah, so there's ones with plates as well, so replace those ones kind of in the same way. So there's 9 of those to replace, except we don't want to replace that one. Okay, slowly making progress here. go back up to the top here and do this one. So it looks like this one changed into an object. Similar to the return on use. I don't think we have too many of these to fix. Yeah, so there's only one other one. And it looks like it's the same thing, so. So one issue is there's no more milk group, so we can kind of take a look at what would be a replacement. So in this case, it looks like it was just renamed, so that should be pretty easy. And actually, this, I think we have a couple of these, yeah. What was that? Container of milk? Only a few left. So eggs. So eggs, or egg turned into chicken egg. So we can make that update. Technically you could use the penguin egg. I think the chicken egg is what monkeys would want though. Okay, so we are completely error-free now. So I'm gonna just compile this. I'm doing a Control-Shift-B. Let's hope for the best. All right, so it created the out folder, which we changed in our tsconfig here. There's an output directory. And actually, now that I'm saying that, I think we actually have to change this file property as well. I think that needs to be updated. Okay, so in this case, we want this to be cooking galore. So it's looking in the proper folder. Okay, well, so there's nothing else to do but launch the game and see if it works. So down here at the bottom of the list, you can see that it is loading. It does work. Otherwise, it would tell you that there's an error, but it is loading. So at this point, you'd probably want to enable it and then go in a game and test it out. And after you're done, you'll probably want to publish it. There'll be a little icon here to go ahead and publish it. The reason why that is not showing up for me is because I didn't publish this mod originally. So it's not going to show me that thing there. And that's actually controlled from this property right here, this publish field ID. So if I went ahead and removed that, relaunch the game. You can see that there's a publish mod option here, and if you were updating it, it would say that that you're updating this when you click this on the tooltip. So if I were to go ahead and publish this mod, it would publish a brand new one under my username and my account. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But in your case, if you did publish the mod originally, you would go ahead and do that after testing, of course. So yeah, this didn't touch on absolutely everything. Obviously, the updates that you're gonna need to make to your mod are gonna like change very, very heavily. This is a very item-centric mod. So a lot of the things we're just changing item properties. If you have like more scripts and more events, that kind of stuff, you would obviously have easier or harder time depending on how old your mod is and how many changes that we did to the code base since then. But yeah, all the links will be in the description for all the resources, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.